to look at the IT architecture. As it's the IT architecture is predominantly more involved in this view IT architecture phase. As business executive, let's exit. So as the IT architect, let's log in, ITA1, and let's select the view of the IT architecture. This takes a little bit of time to create the actual IT architecture and deploy it to the server. So if we hit the test web server for the owner web service, we can then test that web service, and here we get the owner service web service tester. So the concept owner was mapped to the actual web service, and then the actions related to that concept are mapped to operations in the web service. We can also take a look at the interface. So this indicates the wsdl interface. And we can look at the data model that's associated with owner. And so we can see the data model for owner. So it's linked to the name Jane Doe, has license number 234222222. Just sometimes you mightn't see it. Just be careful with the browser. If it looks blank, just scroll up. Likewise with clerk, if we test the web service, let's look at the data model first. So we can see name John Smith, issues new registration to owner Jane Doe. So the data we put in earlier is here. If we go to the test web service, here we want to find out how many clerks exist, so we can select get all clerk names. And that comes back with John Smith. So if we copy John Smith and we go back to the test web service, we can set the clerk name to John Smith, and this now primes the database that all data we now take will be related to John Smith. There is an exception thrown on the server. This is a server error. It's a known bug with this new version of the server, but it doesn't cause any issues or problems. So let's go back to the test the web service. Now that we have it set up for John Smith, we should be able to find out the issues new registration, who it's issued to. If we select issues new registration, it returns Jane Doe. So we can see that that data is correct. Going back to the test web service, we can then create a new clerk. So John Smith is one. So let's create another clerk called Peter Smith. Again, using the camelback notation. And again, Peter Smith is now set. Again, it's thrown the error, but this is again related to a known error on this new version of the server. If we select the view data model, we can see now that Peter Smith is created as a new clerk. So through the web service API, we can see that we can still add new instance data. Let's say the IT architect is now happy with this interface, and they're now complete with that phase. They can select the IT architecture complete, and it indicates that one of the users has now finished this phase, and then they can exit. Let's log in as the user. And as before, they can see the view IT architecture. So they get to see all basically what we've gone through with the IT architect in terms of the testing the web service, viewing the interface, and the data model. So let's assume the user is happy with this phase. Select the IT architecture complete and exit. Let's now log in as the business executive. And as before, they can view the IT architecture, test the web service, view the interface, and view the data model. So let's assume they're happy with this phase. Now it may take time to move on to the next phase as it's priming the application for the business process model.